I never thought I'd be the one. The kind of woman who sets fire to her own perfect life, just to feel a little warmth. Yet here I am, sitting in the deafening silence of an apartment that feels more like a museum of my mistakes, watching the last embers die out. My name is Ilara, I'm 29, and 3 years ago, I married a man who was, by all accounts, perfect. His name is Liam. Now, I'm alone, wondering how I managed to trade a life of quiet beauty for a handful of ash. It started, as these things often do, with the ghost of someone else. Before Liam, there was Julian. Julian and I were a catastrophe, a beautiful, brilliant, all-consuming disaster. We were together for 2 years in our early 20s, a relationship fueled by cheap wine, screaming matches in public, and the kind of passion that leaves claw marks. My friends called our connection electric. Looking back, I realized that's just a polite word for toxic. We were a frayed wire, constantly sparking, always on the verge of burning the whole house down. But I was addicted to the jolt. He was a photographer, always chasing the perfect light, the perfect moment. He'd disappear for weeks on assignment, then reappear at my door at 3 in the morning with stories that made my world feel small and colorless. He made me feel like I was the only person who truly understood his wild, artistic soul. He also made me feel worthless, insecure, and insane. When he ended it, telling me he wasn't the settling down type, that his art was his only true partner, I shattered. Liam was the man who helped me pick up the pieces. He was the opposite of Julian in every conceivable way. Liam was a portfolio manager. He found beauty not in fleeting moments, but in steady growth, in security, in things that were built to last. He was kind. He was stable. He called when he said he would. The first time he cooked dinner for me in his meticulously clean apartment, I almost cried. Not because of the food, but because of the sheer, uncomplicated peace of it all. After the constant chaos with Julian, Liam's calm was a sanctuary. Within a year, we were married. I convinced myself I was happy. I was happy in a way. I had the beautiful house in the suburbs of Port Blossom, the dependable husband, the life everyone told me I should want. This quiet life was better than the emotional roller coaster, I told myself. It had to be. Then, I got pregnant. We were both thrilled. Liam, especially. He transformed our spare room into a nursery with the precision of a master craftsman, assembling the crib as if it were the most important project of his life. He read parenting books aloud to my growing belly and never missed a single doctor's appointment. He was going to be a perfect father. When our son was born, with a tuft of dark hair just like mine, I held him in my arms, and the first name that escaped my lips was a betrayal. Julian, I whispered. Liam was beside me, his eyes shining with tears. Julian, that's beautiful, Ilara. Is it a family name? I looked at him, my perfect, trusting husband, and I lied. Yes, I said, the word tasting like poison. After my grandfather. There was no grandfather, Julian. There was only the ghost I couldn't exorcise. I had just named our son, the physical embodiment of my life with Liam, after the man I couldn't forget. It was my first secret. A seed of deceit planted right in the heart of our perfect family, and I watered it every single day. Life after Julian's birth was a blur of diapers, sleepless nights, and a body I no longer recognized in the mirror. Liam was incredible, of course. He'd come home from a 10-hour day at the firm, exhausted, but would still take the baby from my arms without a word, giving me a chance to shower or just sit in silence for 5 minutes. He tried so hard, but instead of gratitude, I felt a simmering resentment. I'd get irrationally angry at the way he loaded the dishwasher, the way he'd ask what I wanted for dinner when my brain was too fried to make a single decision. Small, stupid things became enormous failures in my mind. He was trying to help, but it felt like he was highlighting my own incompetence. Meanwhile, during those lonely 3 a.m. feedings, I found a new, dangerous habit. I'd scroll through my old phone photos of Julian and me from years ago, laughing in a photo booth, a stolen shot of him sleeping, his dark hair a mess on the pillow, a selfie of us at some music festival, young and reckless and stupidly in love. I told myself it was just nostalgia, that I was just missing the person I used to be before I became someone's wife and someone's mother. Around Julian's first birthday, I did something I knew I shouldn't. I found Julian on social media. His profile was a curated collection of his travels, moody landscapes, striking portraits of strangers, and of course, a few carefully chosen shots of him looking effortlessly cool. He was still chasing the light. My finger hovered over the message button for a full 10 minutes. My heart was hammering against my ribs. Don't do it, Elara. Don't be that woman. But I was. Hey, I typed, my hands shaking. Long time no see. How have you been? I attached a recent photo of myself, one where I'd actually put on makeup and done my hair. A photo where I looked like Elara, not Mom. I told myself it was innocent, just catching up with an old friend. A friend I'd named me soon after. He didn't respond for 3 agonizing days. I checked my phone obsessively, my stomach twisting with every notification that wasn't from him. I felt like that pathetic girl in her 20s all over again, waiting for a sign that I still mattered. When he finally did reply, the rush was overwhelming. Wow, Elara, you look exactly the same. Stunning. My breath caught in my throat. Life's been crazy, his message continued. But I think about you, more than I probably should. You were always the one that got away, you know. How? And just like that, I was hooked. Our messages became a daily ritual, a secret world only I knew about. He'd disappear for days, leaving me on edge, then come back with messages that felt like a punch to the gut. I miss your laugh. Was just thinking about that weekend at the cabin by the lake. Best days of my life. He knew exactly what he was doing. He was a master at painting a romanticized version of our chaotic past. He'd say things like, I wish you were here with me right now, instead of with him. He never used Liam's name. It was always just him, as if Liam were a temporary obstacle, a footnote in our real story. No one gets me like you do, Elara. One afternoon, after a particularly draining day with the baby, I sent him a selfie, complaining about feeling exhausted. He replied almost instantly, damn, even tired, you're a knockout. He doesn't deserve you. It was toxic. It was a lie. Deep down, I knew it. Liam deserved the world. He was a good man, a great father. But Julian's words felt like oxygen after months of feeling like I was suffocating in my perfect, quiet life. Liam noticed I was on my phone more, but he was too good to be suspicious. He just assumed I was connecting with other new moms, or scrolling through articles. Instead of questioning me, he tried harder. He started planning weekly date nights. He'd bring home my favorite Thai food. He even hired a cleaning service to come twice a month so I would have less to worry about. Every kind gesture felt like another brick in the wall he was building around me, a wall I was desperately trying to escape. You seem a million miles away lately, he said one night, his voice gentle. We were getting ready for bed. I just want you to be happy again. Tell me what you need. I didn't look up from my phone. Julian had just sent me a photo of a sunset from his hotel balcony in Barcelona. I'm fine, I said, my voice flat. Just tired. The lies started small, saying I was reading an article when I was really rereading a flirtatious message from Julian, telling Liam I was going to bed early, only to stay up for hours. Bathed in the blue light of my phone, talking to a man who lived on the other side of the world. Soon, the conversations grew bolder, more intense. Send me a pic of you right now, Julian messaged me one day. I need to see your face. I was in my sweatpants, hair in a messy bun, with baby food on my shirt. But I found myself rushing to the bathroom, washing my face, dabbing on concealer, brushing my hair until it shined. I took selfie after selfie, angling my face just right, until I found one I thought looked good enough. Effortless. Beautiful, he wrote back instantly. The validation was a drug, but I miss seeing all of you. I knew what he was asking, and I knew it was wrong. I was a mother, a wife. I had a husband sleeping in the next room, a man who trusted me completely. I told myself I wouldn't do it. But that night, after Liam was sound asleep, his steady breathing filling the quiet room, I slipped out of bed. I went to the bathroom, locked the door, and took a photo I never thought I'd take again. A photo meant for a lover's eyes, and I sent it. In my twisted logic, I convinced myself it wasn't really cheating. It was just pictures. It wasn't physical. We were thousands of miles apart. It was a harmless fantasy. Each message from Julian was like a hit, a rush of adrenaline when I saw his name pop up, followed by a desperate need to respond, to keep the feeling going. Meanwhile, Liam was in a quiet battle for my affection, and he didn't even know who he was fighting against. He was fighting against a ghost, a fantasy, an idealized version of a past that never really existed. "You know what I love about you," Julian messaged one night. "You're so independent. You never needed anyone to take care of you. You're not like other girls who are just looking for security." The words landed perfectly. It was exactly what I wanted to hear, that I was special, different, not the boring, dependent housewife I felt I had become. The fact that Liam was literally taking care of me every single day, helping with our son, paying our bills, being a responsible, loving partner, suddenly seemed like a weakness. Evidence that I had settled, rather than something to be cherished. My phone became an extension of my body, but also my greatest liability. I started hiding it whenever Liam was around. I'd take it into the bathroom with me when I showered. I'd wait until he was busy giving Julian his bath to respond to Julian. Our conversations evolved. They became more explicit. We talked about what we would do if we were alone together. He told me, in graphic detail, all the things he missed about my body. I sent him more photos. Photos I would die if anyone else ever saw. I was living a double life, and the strain was starting to show. One Saturday, Liam planned a whole day for us, a family trip to the coast. He packed a picnic. He loaded up the car. He did everything. The entire drive, I was on edge, waiting for my phone to buzz. Julian was in Lisbon and had promised to send pictures. We were walking on the beach, Liam holding Julian's hand as he toddled near the water's edge. It was a perfect picture, a perfect family. "Isn't this nice?" Liam said, smiling at me. His eyes were so full of love. "Yeah," I said, forcing a smile back. My mind was elsewhere. Later, sitting on the blanket, Liam tried to put his arm around me. I flinched, almost instinctively. The guilt of what I was doing made his touch feel like a brand. He pulled back, a hurt look flickering across his face. "What's wrong, Ilara?" "Nothing," I said quickly. "Sand in my shirt." A pathetic lie. He knew it. I knew it. But we both let it hang in the air, unspoken. The whole day was like that. Me, a ghost in my own life, performing the role of wife and mother, while my real self was waiting for a message from another man. On the drive home, Liam was quiet. The silence was heavy, thick with everything we weren't saying. I glanced over at him. He was staring straight ahead, his jaw tight. He knew something was wrong, terribly wrong. He just didn't know what it was. And I was too much of a coward to tell him. The night everything fell apart started like any other. Liam came home from work early. He took over baby duty immediately, shooing me off to take a long shower while he fed Julian and got him ready for bed. He even ordered our favorite pizza so I wouldn't have to cook. He was trying so hard, and I hated him for it. I hated his goodness because it made my deception feel that much uglier. After we put Julian down, Liam suggested we watch a movie. I agreed, but I kept my phone in my hand, nestled in the couch cushions beside me. I was waiting for Julian to respond to the last picture I'd sent. Halfway through the movie, Liam paused it. "Ilara." His voice was quiet, but it cut through the room. "Can we talk? I mean, really talk." I kept my eyes on the dark screen. "About what?" "About us," he said, his voice strained. He gestured to the space between us on the couch. "About what's happening here. I feel like I'm losing you, and I don't even know why. I've been trying everything I can think of, but it's like you're not even here." "I'm just tired, Liam," I said. The same old excuse. It sounded weak, even to my own ears. "It's not you." "I don't believe that," he said, his voice barely a whisper. "We used to be a team. Now it feels like we're just two strangers living under the same roof. Is there someone else?" His question hit me like a physical blow. My heart stopped. "What?" I feigned outrage. "No. How could you even ask me that?" "Because you're always on your phone," he said, his voice gaining a hard edge. "Because you pull away every time I touch you. Because sometimes you seem happy, secretly happy, for no reason at all, and then you're disappointed, and I have no idea why. It's because you're sharing your life with someone else, aren't you?" He looked at me, his eyes pleading for me to deny it, to give him any reason to believe he was wrong. I couldn't meet his gaze. I felt a confusing mix of guilt and relief. He stood up, the movement slow and heavy. I think I'm going to go to bed. I'm tired of fighting for someone who doesn't seem to want to be fought for. I watched him walk towards our bedroom. I should have stopped him. I should have confessed. I should have done anything other than what I did next. I picked up my phone. A new message from Julian. I can't stop thinking about you. About that last picture. Send me another one. Something just for me. I glanced toward the closed bedroom door. My heart was racing, a toxic cocktail of fear and excitement. And quietly, I took another photo. A revealing, reckless photo. And I sent it. His reply was immediate. You're so damn hot. I want you so bad. He must be blind or stupid not to appreciate what he has. I went to the bedroom. Liam was in bed, reading a book. I changed into my pajamas and slipped in beside him, the cold space between us feeling like a canyon. He put his book down and turned off his lamp. He lay with his back to me for a few minutes. Then, he rolled over. He touched my shoulder. His touch was hesitant. Ilara, he said softly, I love you. Whatever is wrong, we can fix it. Together. The genuine emotion in his voice made my chest ache. He moved closer, his hand gently caressing my arm. He wanted to connect, physically, to close the distance I had created. I didn't push him away, but I didn't respond either. I just lay there, stiff as a board. His touch felt foreign, wrong. He must have sensed it, because he stopped. What is it? He asked, his voice laced with confusion. What am I doing wrong? Nothing, I lied. I'm just not in the mood. You're never in the mood anymore, he said, frustration finally breaking through his calm facade. Not for sex, not for us, not for anything that involves me. That's not true, I protested weakly. Then what is true, Ilara? He sat up, turning his lamp back on. The sudden light felt like an interrogation. Help me understand what's happening. I can't do this anymore. This silence, this distance, it's killing me. Just tell me what you want. What did I want? I wanted the impossible. I wanted the thrill Julian made me feel without the consequences. I wanted the stability of Liam without the perceived boredom. He was looking at me, his eyes searching my face for an answer, for something, anything, he could hold on to. And in that moment, frustrated by his neediness, annoyed by his persistence, I broke. I muttered it under my breath, thinking it was too quiet for him to hear. I miss how Julian made me feel. The second the words left my mouth, I knew I had just detonated the bomb. Liam's expression changed. His face went completely pale, as if all the blood had drained out of it. He had heard me, every single word. Who the hell is Julian? He asked, his voice dangerously quiet. The silence that followed was the loudest sound I'd ever heard. My mind was scrambling, trying to build a lie, but it was too late. The look on his face told me the time for lies was over. An old friend, I stammered. A friend, he repeated, his voice hollow. And what exactly do you miss about how this friend made you feel? I said nothing. Panic was rising in my throat, choking me. His eyes darted to my phone on the nightstand. He reached for it. I lunged for it at the same time, but he was faster. Liam, don't. If he's just a friend, he said, his voice shaking. Then you won't mind me looking, right? I watched in pure horror as he unlocked it. He knew my password. Of course he knew my password. His thumb began to scroll. I saw his expression shift, from suspicion to shock to utter disgust. He was reading everything, the messages, the promises, the filth. His hand started to tremble violently. What is this? He whispered, holding the phone up. These pictures, Ilara. What have you been doing? It's not what it looks like, I said desperately, the words sounding absurd even as I said them. We were just talking. When? Just talking. He stopped abruptly, his eyes fixated on the screen. He scrolled back up, to the very top of the chat history, to Julian's name. His face contorted in confusion, and then, a dawning, terrible realization. Wait, he breathed. Julian. He looked from the name on the phone to my face, and then his eyes filled with a horror so profound it stole the air from my lungs. Julian, he whispered, the name of our son. You named our son After him, the blood drained from my face. It was the one connection I never thought he would make. No, I lied. A pathetic, automatic response. Julian is named after my grandfather. You know that. Your grandfather, he repeated, his voice flat and dead. The one you never mentioned before you were pregnant. The one none of your family has ever spoken about. He stared at me, the pieces clicking into place behind his eyes. There is no grandfather Julian, is there? My silence was the only answer he needed. He stood up, still clutching my phone like it was venomous snake. Who is he to you? An ex? Someone from work? My ex-boyfriend, I whispered. From before I met you. How long has this been going on? Nothing's going on, I insisted, my voice rising with hysteria. We were just talking. Stop lying, Liam roared, and I flinched. He had never, not once in our entire relationship, raised his voice at me. I can see the messages, Ilara. I can see the pictures you sent him. My God, you named our child after the man you were cheating on me with. How could you do something so sick, so disrespectful? I had no defense. So I attacked. You don't understand. You don't make me feel the way he does. He let out a short, bitter, heartbroken laugh. The guy asking you for naked pictures while I'm upstairs taking care of our son? The guy who hasn't dealt with a single midnight feeding or a diaper change or any actual responsibility? That guy? He threw my phone onto the bed. It bounced on the mattress with a soft thud. He walked to the closet and pulled out a duffel bag. What are you doing? I asked, panic clawing at me. What does it look like? He said, his back to me as he started pulling clothes from drawers. I'm leaving. I can't even look at you right now. Liam, please, I begged, the desperation real now. It was just messages. It didn't mean anything. He turned to face me, and his eyes were filled with a pain so deep I felt it in my own bones. If it didn't mean anything, why did you do it? Why did you hide it? And why, his voice cracked, did you name our son after him? I had no answer. I need to get out of here, he said, zipping the bag. I'll be back tomorrow to see Julian and we'll figure out what happens next. But we're done, Ilara. We are done. No one comes back from this. I didn't actually cheat on you, I protested, clinging to my pathetic technicality. He paused at the bedroom door and looked at me with pure, unadulterated disgust. You really don't get it, do you? He said. This is cheating. The lies, the secrets, the emotional intimacy you gave to someone else, that is cheating. And naming our child after him? That's a level of betrayal I don't even have words for. He walked out of the room. I followed him, tears finally streaming down my face. Please don't go, I begged. Think about Julian. He stopped at the front door. I am thinking about Julian, he said without turning around. He is the only reason I'm not saying what I really want to say to you right now. Then he opened the door and walked out into the night, leaving me alone in the silent, perfect house I had just destroyed. The first thing I did after Liam left was not cry. It was not scream. It was check my phone. I sent a frantic message to Julian. He knows. He knows everything. He left. Then I waited. The minutes stretched into an hour. The silence in the apartment was suffocating. Finally, he replied, Damn, that's intense. You okay? What are you going to do now? That was it. No, I'm so sorry. No, this is my fault too. Just a detached curiosity about the drama I had unleashed. I don't know, I texted back. He's talking about divorce. He took Julian for the weekend. That's rough, he wrote. Want to meet up? Might help to talk in person. Despite everything falling apart around me, a sick surge of excitement shot through me. This was it. This was what I wanted, right? The drama, the passion, the end of my boring life, and the start of my real one. Yes, I replied immediately. When? Tonight, my place. I'll order some food. I agreed without a second thought. I spent the rest of the day in a daze, alternating between waves of panic about my imploding marriage and a feverish anticipation for seeing Julian again. When I arrived at his apartment that evening, a minimalist, impersonal space that screamed, no attachments, he greeted me with a long hug that quickly turned into something more. The chemistry was still there, that dangerous electric spark. It was exactly as I remembered. Within an hour, I had crossed the final line. What had been an emotional affair became brutally physical. And in the twisted logic of the moment, I justified it. My marriage was already over. This didn't count. This was the start of something new. Afterward, lying in his unfamiliar bed, reality began to creep back in, cold and unwelcome. What am I going to do? I asked, more to myself than to him. Julian shrugged, scrolling through his phone. You'll figure it out. You always do. Not, we'll figure it out. Not, I'm here for you. Just a casual dismissal of the crisis that was consuming my entire world. My whole life is falling apart, Julian, I said, my voice trembling. Liam is talking about getting lawyers involved. That sucks, he said, his attention still glued to his screen. Hey, I've got an early shoot tomorrow, so the dismissal was clear. I had served my purpose for the night. Over the next few weeks, that pattern repeated itself. My days were a nightmare of logistics and heartache. My parents called, devastated. My friends texted, a mix of sympathy and shock. The custody exchanges with Liam were excruciating. We spoke only through clipped, polite sentences, like two business associates discussing a failed merger. He never looked me in the eye. Through it all, Julian remained a chaotic, inconsistent presence. He'd bombard me with passionate messages one day, then disappear for 3. He'd invite me over, then cancel at the last minute. It was exactly how he had behaved when we dated years ago. But now, I was too broken and emotionally dependent to walk away. He was the only thing I had left, or so I told myself. 2 weeks after Liam left, Julian suggested I bring the baby over. I should meet the little guy, he said. Since, you know, we're getting serious again. Getting serious. The words were a lifeline I clung to desperately, but the visit was a disaster. Julian was fussy that day, overtired and upset by the disruption to his routine. When he wouldn't stop crying in Julian's starkly quiet apartment, I saw a flash of annoyance cross Julian's face. Does he ever stop? He asked, an edge to his voice. He's a baby, Julian, I said defensively, and he's been through a lot of changes. Julian just shrugged. I guess. Look, maybe this isn't the best time. Why don't you drop him off with your parents or something and come back later? Just us. That was the first moment a real, painful pang of doubt hit me. A real man, a partner, would have tried to help. He would have offered comfort, not suggested I get rid of the problem. But instead of listening to that doubt, I called my mom. She agreed to watch Julian, her disappointment a palpable thing over the phone line. 3 months after Liam walked out, I was living in a small 2-bedroom apartment. The divorce proceedings were underway, and I was feeling too off. One morning, after Julian had cancelled plans for the 3rd time in a row, I woke up with a familiar wave of nausea, a feeling I hadn't had in almost 2 years. My hands were shaking as I bought the pregnancy test. I sat on the edge of my bathtub and watched as 2 pink lines appeared, changing everything. Again, when I told Julian, his reaction was exactly what I should have expected, but it still shocked me to my core. He stared at the test I'd placed on his coffee table, his face pale. Are you sure it's mine? He asked. The question felt like a slap. Yes, Julian, I'm sure, I said, my voice thick with hurt. Liam and I haven't been together since long before he left. He ran a hand through his hair, pacing his living room. This is not what I signed up for, Ilara. I'm not ready to be a dad. You think I planned this? I asked, incredulous. I'm already a single mom half the time. The last thing I wanted was another baby right now. So what are you going to do? He asked. The emphasis on you said everything. Don't you mean, what are we going to do? I corrected him, a desperate hope in my voice. He stopped pacing and looked at me, his expression cold. Look, I care about you, but I never said anything about settling down, especially not with someone else's kid already in the picture, and another one on the way. He didn't call. He didn't text. After a week of agonizing silence, I went to his apartment, only to be told by the doorman that I wasn't allowed up. He had blocked me. He had cut me off completely. The next day was a custody exchange with Liam. I was a wreck. My eyes were swollen from crying. As I handed Julian over, Liam noticed. For the first time in months, a flicker of something other than anger crossed his face. Concern, maybe, or just curiosity. "Are you sick?" he asked. It was the first personal question he'd asked me since the night he left. I hesitated. The lies had already cost me everything. What was the point anymore? "I'm pregnant," I said, the words barely a whisper. Liam stared at me. I could see the wheels turning in his head, connecting the dots. His expression hardened, and then he let out a short, bitter laugh. It was a terrible sound. He shook his head, looking at me as if for the first time. "Well," he said finally, his voice devoid of all emotion. "Looks like I dodged a bullet." The words stung because they were true. Liam hadn't left me because he stopped loving me. He'd left because he respected himself too much to stay with someone who had betrayed him so completely. He had saved himself. And now, watching him gently strap Julian into his car seat, Julian, the son he loved unconditionally, despite knowing the ugly truth behind his name, I finally, truly, understood what I had thrown away. As his car pulled out of my apartment complex parking lot, I caught a glimpse of someone in the passenger seat. A woman with dark hair, laughing at something he said. My stomach twisted with an unexpected, violent jealousy. Of course he was moving on. Why wouldn't he? He was a good man. A catch. Any woman would be lucky to have him. Standing alone outside my apartment building, one hand resting on my still flat stomach, I was forced to face the full consequences of my choices. I was about to be a single mother of 2 children, with 2 different fathers. The passionate, epic romance I'd convinced myself was worth destroying my family for had been a cheap, hollow fantasy. And the stable, loving partner I had taken for granted was gone forever, building a new, better life without me. I wish I could say I learned some profound lesson from all this, that I grew as a person, or found some deeper understanding of myself. But the truth is, I'm still the same selfish woman who whispered another man's name in a moment of weakness and shattered her family. I still find ways to blame everyone but myself. Liam, for not being exciting enough. Julian, for being a manipulative coward. My friends, for not stopping me. My own hormones, for this unwanted pregnancy. But deep down, in the terrifyingly honest moments that come late at night when I can't sleep, I know the truth. I did this. All of it. And unlike in the movies, there's no magical third act where everything works out. There's no redemption arc waiting for me. There's just me, picking up the pieces of the life I broke. There's just me, wondering if I'll ever learn to live with the whispered words I can never, ever take back.